Hi, I'm John Gardner of BeVital.life. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to share with you a little bit about how the breath takes you into your resistance. I have this saying, the asana takes you to the edge of your resistance, the breath takes you in. So I want to explore that with you using the simple asana of the forward fold. So, like when we approach our forward fold, we sit up in Dandasana, right? And even for some of us, even this can be challenging because the hamstrings can be sort of clamoring for attention immediately, right? So before we even try to bring the body into a forward fold position, we're going to maybe, if you need to, lift the knees, right? So the goal is to unload the hamstrings. It's okay for the hamstrings to get a stretch, and they will get a stretch. But for right now, we're gonna feel softness in the hamstrings a little bit, so that we can hinge from the hips. We're not gonna fold the chest yet. We're not gonna curve that. We're just gonna try to hinge from the hips, right? Draw the body forward with the chest and the navel sort of heading towards the front of the room or towards your feet, right? Before we drop down, we try to draw forward. This is gonna allow us to understand what's happening in the low back. For a lot of guys, especially, this space from the sacrum up to sort of the mid-lumbar can be really tight as well. So we're trying to find a little bit of an opportunity here to stretch into and find the edge of our resistance. Now, I'm pretty flexible, so for me to get to the edge of my resistance, I'm going to have to go down further. For you, you might be here, and you might find that your hinge point has kind of gotten stuck, right? So what you do is you keep releasing by bending the knees until you get your belly in contact with your thighs. Now, for some of us, it might be here. For some of us, it might be here, right? And that's totally fine. Eventually, we're going to stretch. We're going to straighten out. So don't worry about that part yet. Just try to get yourself forward, right? So now, at this point, we've reached a kind of an edge of resistance in the hinge point of the hips. Now, for me, and perhaps for you, this is where we begin to apply the energy to straightening the legs. Now, that doesn't mean we have to straighten the legs at all. It just means that we want to apply the muscles that might allow us to stretch the legs. So we're going to engage the quads a little bit. And for me, I'm going to come all the way down. And I'm going to keep trying to find a way to get my belly in contact with my thighs. So as I come down, again, the low back might impinge here. It might slow you down. So just bend the knees again, right? So we're looking for this blended stretch that includes the hamstrings, the glutes, and the low back. That's where we're starting. So finding the edge of our resistance here. Now, the next thing we're going to do is allow the shoulders and the chest to drop. And again, you might be up here having this happen, and that's totally fine. If that's the edge of your resistance, if this is your forward fold, that's fine, because that's not where we're not worried about whether you look like you're folded in half or not. We're focusing on the sensation in the back of the legs, the glutes, and in the back or along the spine. So get yourself to the edge of your mechanical edge of your resistance. So for me, that's right about here into my shoulders and upper back. And then I'm going to tuck my chin. Now where you tuck your chin, right? You tuck your chin towards your throat, you're going to feel a cervical spine stretch. If you tuck your chin towards your heart space, you're going to feel more of a thoracic spine stretch. And if you tuck your chin kind of deeper, you might get the whole arc of the spine engaged. So depending on what sensation you want to feel today, when you're doing your practice, you tuck the chin and just hang out here at the edge of your resistance. So you've mechanically found the edge of your resistance. Now, you can grab your feet or hold onto a strap and sort of yank yourself down or pull yourself down, yanking, no. Pulling with a steady draw, yes, that's fine. Right? So you can engage the arms to draw yourself in deeper. Notice I'm allowing my chin to be a regulator here of the intensity of the sensation in my back, where that stretch is actually occurring in my back. And now, this is where we get to the important part of the topic. Okay. So the asana has taken us to the edge, the mechanical edge of our resistance, the sort of geometric or architectural edge of our resistance. Now we're going to breathe, and we're going to use the breath to deepen the sensation of stretch into our resistance. So the asana is taking us to the edge, the breath takes us in. So the inhale, so wherever I'm feeling that stretch. So for me, I'm feeling this stretch right now, right through my mid ribs, and I'm going to take my breath right to that spot. Breathing into the sensation and literally into the body part. Now, it might take a little time to figure out how to get the breath into that body part. And you do that by practicing, by feeling into your sensation, letting your chin be sort of a tuning fork for where you want to experience the sensation. And then using the breath as a very refined tool for expanding, applying. The interesting thing is we're actually applying pressure from the inside of the body. When we increase the breathing cavity, we're actually applying pressure upwards using the breath to stretch the muscles of the spine. You can't get that any other way, right? So the breath is actually facilitating a very unique kind of expression and experience of the stretch. So you hang out there at the edge of your resistance mechanically and then use the breath to precisely approach and engage that resistance at the spot in your back where you feel the greatest sensation. Now, you may have to breathe quite deeply, and you may have to breathe quite intensively to find how it augments the sensation, how it enhances the sensation. Or, you might not have to breathe very deeply at all. The key is you have the choice to regulate depth and intensity and the location of your breath. With practice, you'll be able to very precisely tune the breath to engage a particular spot in the body and tune the intensity to engage just how much you're drawing yourself deeper into your resistance. And this should feel pretty good. We're always looking to feel good. Right? In somatic yoga, which is the kind of yoga that I like to share, there's no agenda regarding what your body should look like. It's really about what your body wants to feel like. So you breathe in here, looking for positive, vitalizing pleasure, using the breath to augment the sensation of the stretch, using the breath to help us find our way deeper into our resistance. Well, I should say that to come out, whenever you're in a deep stretch, it's best to use different muscles than the muscles that you were stretching to come out. So here we've got our back muscles stretched. The last thing we want to do is put a bunch of load on the back muscles to hinge ourselves out. So what we're going to do is take the hands alongside the thighs and use the arms to press the body up out of the posture. Now, a nice little opening of the heart to the sky. Maybe you take your arms out to the sides, interlace your fingers behind your back. Oh, feels awesome. Yep, check. Feel awesome. So, thanks for joining me. I'm John Gardner. Come visit me at bevital.life. Thanks for listening.